My ninjutsu training allowed me to master it instantly.
You want me to show you tough? I'll show you tough. Hey! Hey! Hey!
Hello friends and welcome back to RedX, your source for the freshest daily cringe content anywhere on the internet. Promise, swearsies, it's just a fact and it's totally science. Go ahead and look it up. Today we're diving back into r/neckbeard stories. Yeah, you know what it is. Maybe. Probably you don't actually because it's a one-off. We're continuing these one-off series. This one was cross-posted in my personal subreddit r/redxreads, but it actually comes from r/moonhorse stories. Yes, indeed. I guess this OP is a fan of both of us, and all I can really say about that is mwah, supreme taste. Moonhorse, as you might know, is my boy. We did a little collab like a few months back now. I should probably have him back on the channel. Also been talking to Walter Fate about a little bit of a collabo. So we're trying to bring the YouTuber Reddit community together, which is a difficult thing to do because most YouTuber Reddit people like to stay in their own little box. I mean, myself included, but I'm trying to reach out. I'm trying to bridge the gap, you know what I'm saying? This is a story about Ninja Beard, if you couldn't tell from the title/thumbnail. I have no idea what it's about, but it's a one-off, so it fulfills my qualifications. So without any further ado, let's go ahead. We'll get some plugs and disclaimers out of the way, and then we will dive right into some of this Neckbeard Stories cringe. Enter the Ninja Beard. I'm cross-posting to both Moonhorse and RedX, as they are both purveyors of the finest neckbeard cringe. And I have been enjoying both of their YouTube channels. That's right, there's room enough for everybody. We definitely have two quite disparate styles. Moonhorse rants a lot less than I do. But we both deliver some of that genuine impotent rage when it is called for. And I think that's why we connect. Anyways, this story is as true as I can make it, given that the story takes place over 15 years ago. And, you know, memory being what it is, a few minor inaccuracies will most likely slip through. I have, however, talked to a few other people who were there, and our recollections match up pretty well. So I will begin by listing the place and the major characters. I think that's the best way to go about it. That's what happened with the Unfortunate saga. That's why that thing got so beefy, because you're remembering all the tiniest minutia of events. And that's a beautiful thing. Then you really get to dig in that neckbeard cringe with both hands. The place was Maestro Sal de Arms. I probably said that wrong. The current location where the Maestro was teaching HEMA, historic European martial arts. Oh, that's kind of almost on par with like the local game shop as a beard nest, isn't it? He was teaching HEMA to all of us. Think of it as like a martial arts dojo, but instead of learning kung fu, karate, or MMA, you learn things like rapier, longsword, polearm, or dagger. Yeah, I'm pretty good with a bow staff.
This one gang kept wanting me to join because I'm pretty good with a bow staff.
The people! Me, that's OP, a nerd in his early 30s, overweight with long hair, and absolutely loving learning how to sword fight. Hell yeah, bro. But not the one you do with the urinal, right? No, that comes natural. At this point, I had been there for about 4 to 5 years and had a reasonably good sense of what worked, what didn't, and what would just be plain old stupid. Oh, that neckbeard. He's gonna be plain old stupid, I'm sure. Maestro was the instructor. He had a wide range of expertise, fighting with all sorts of weapons. And when he moved to my metropolitan area, he started up the school mostly so he'd have new friends to fight on the weekend, which ended up becoming his full-time job. Living the dream! I love that. His method of teaching involved a lot of teaching you how to use the geometry, physics, and biomechanics of the fight to win. My method of teaching involves a fistful of dirt in the eyes and a swift kick in the nuts. Then you win. Fight to win. Doc was one of Maestro's first students. She was a doctor who had first started with the sword fighting to help her burn off stress, and her particular medical specialization is one of the highest paying as well as one of the most stressful. My God, even Doc does sword fighting up here? That's pretty cool. Ninja Beard, oh boy. NB, that works for Neckbeard as well, but we're gonna call him Ninja Beard. He is our beard for the story, of course, who can be summed up in one quote.
I learned something much more efficient and deadly when I studied ninjutsu in Japan.
And by that he means he watched Naruto while eating a bento box. It's basically the same thing, right? As far as looks went, he was actually not too bad. A little short, overweight, with a kind of greasy Italian, oh boy, greasy Italian pickup artist vibe, which did not really endear him to the female members of the class. Bro, I don't know how I'm going to get past that last sentence, but I guess we'll see how it goes. The first couple meetings with Ninja Beard actually were fine. He had joined the school and had started with the basics, the different cuts and guards and parries and footwork. And this was how Maestro always started people, as once you knew the basics well enough to practice them on your own, then you could start training with the rest of the class. He constantly shifted people around so that you didn't just work with one person during any class, and you could work with, different people. We also rotated through helping with the basics whenever a new person joined, so indeed I did work with Ninja Beard a bit. Ninja Beard picked up the basics without much issue, and after a couple of weeks he started to work with the rest of the class, which is when his beardiness began to show itself. Oh boy, you gotta love to see that. He's doing okay while he's off in the corner, but the second you put him around other people, then comes the meltdown. And you know I live for these meltdowns, so I guess let's see about these incidents. Incident 1. The first time I worked with Ninja Beard, we were given a sequence to work through. Basically, each of us had a short sequence of motions that we were working through that opposed one another. I.e., I make a cut, he parries, and then countercuts. I slip left to avoid it, and thrusts. He sidesteps and rotates to avoid it, and so on. We were working at this at about half speed, and after doing it more or less correctly once, he decides to make some changes.
Well, this is how he learned from his Japanese ninjutsu class
at the local community college. Now, after the first exchange, he suddenly ramps up to full speed and hits me. Ninja Beard, really, what the hell? We're working at half speed. That was not part of the drill.
Well, sorry. After training in ninjutsu for 8 years in Japan, I really can't do my practice slow. And it's not your fault I'm too fast for you to deal with.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, bro. You're just faster than the human eye. The fucking blur of blubber.
Also, the drill motions are stupid. My technique is far superior.
Well, this was bullshit on so many levels. For instance, 1. When learning something new, you always do it slow first and then work up to full speed. Yeah, like jerking off. This is a terrible example. This is a terrible joke. Moving on. Example 2. He had been working at half speed until he decided to cheap shot me by suddenly switching to full speed. 3. When working at slow speed, you almost never lose control of speed when you're attacking. Sudden speed shifts generally happen when something is about to hit you, and your reflexes go, oh shit, I don't want to get hit. 4. His
superior technique
only worked because he suddenly decided to move twice as fast as I was moving. Had we both been moving at similar speeds, he would have taken my practice sword square in his face mask. Well, this is how he does it in Japan. He's like, hey bro, Before we have this duel, let's just practice once. And then he fucking ganks the dude. He's won 100% of his fights. Don't question it. OP says, well, can you at least try to work at the same speed and try to stay to the drill for a little while? I want to make sure I actually have it all before we start working on variations of it.
You haven't mastered it already. You must not be that good of a student. My ninjutsu training allowed me to master it instantly.
You want me to show you tough? I'll show you tough. Hey! Hey! Hey!
Yeah, goddamn, dude. Quintessential neckbeard. It's so good.
But I guess I can slow it down if you aren't up to my level.
Internal me. Okay, motherfucker, it's on. External me. Fine, let's go again. He tried the exact same thing immediately. He sped up mid-technique at the exact same spot, but this time, so did I. It wasn't so much that I stabbed him square in the face mask. It was more like he proudly tried to parry my practice sword by slamming into it face first. Technique! Big brain time! As his head bounced back, I was thankful for the full fencing mask I was wearing, as I'm sure I had a gigantic shit-eating grin on my face as he sputtered,
Hey, you suddenly speeded up. That's not what you're supposed to do.
No, you, bitch! God damn! I tell you, if John F. Kennedy had a skull this thick, he would have survived that assassination. Well, since you said you can't practice slowly, I figured I'd just do my best to match your speed. Was that a bit too fast for you? I couldn't see his face, but I was sure the faces that he was making behind his mask would have caused me to crack up laughing.
No, I could keep up just fine. Let's go again.
Oh, gladly. Eventually, they're just going to be beating each other with swords. No technique or anything. Just blunt pieces of metal banging against skull. Unfortunately, I do think that the neckbeard's thick skull would cause him to come out on top in that scenario. But let's see how it goes for him, Johnny. Over the next minute, he went from trying to cheat me in the drill to plain old flailing about and trying to hit me. Called it. Now, this wasn't because I'm some master swordsman, but because he was sloppy and predictable. Now, this could have lasted probably at least 5 to 10 more minutes, but Maestro had spotted what the hell was going on and came over.
Hey, Ninja Beard, did you understand the drill I gave to the class? I can go over it again if you have any, questions. No, my mastery of ninjutsu allowed me to master that effortlessly.
Fuck. You can't make it up. It's so beautiful.
I'm just trying to get OP to learn some of my superior ninjutsu, but he doesn't seem to understand it.
Internal me. Bitch, you have only hit me once with a cheap shot, and that's it. When Maestro had approached us, we had both turned to face him, leaving me slightly further away and out of Ninja Beard's field of view. As he talked, I made a hand gesture indicating that I thought Ninja Beard was missing a screw or two. Yeah, that little finger by the ear, twirl your finger something. We all know that cuckoo clock hand gesture. He called for the groups to switch, and I didn't work with Ninja Beard for the rest of the night. After class, I found another loathsome piece of information about him. When he left, he had just left his mask and sword on the floor and taken off. You can imagine what his room looks like if he's doing this shit in public. I had picked up his helmet to hang it back up. When I flipped it over, I saw inside, and there was a black streak in the mask that seemed to be composed equally of black hair dye and 30-weight motor oil. That's not motor oil. That's beard dirt. You gotta throw the whole mask away now. That shit is over. I handed the mask over to Maestro so he could take it home and at least try to clean it. If you are ever curious, the easiest way to clean a fencing mask is to simply remove anything detachable and then run it through the dishwasher. I still don't think that's gonna work. This beard dirt, it don't come off. Also, Maestro had asked me what happened, which I summarized as, he doesn't want to lose, even when acting as the bumpkin, so he'll cheap shot you to try and prove that he's superior. Maestro said that he'd been worrying that something like that would happen, and he would keep a closer eye on Ninja Beard in the future. But how can you watch him if he's a ninja? You can't even see him because of his superior ninjutsu. Incident 2. Apparently, not only did Ninja Beard think that he was
a master of ninjutsu,
but he had to teach everybody his
superior techniques.
Now, it was annoying enough when he did it with me, but apparently whenever he worked with one of the female students, he tried to teach them by basically plastering himself behind them as the big spoon, and then trying to move them like he was some puppeteer suit of greasy power armor. I didn't see the first few people he tried this with, but when he tried it with Doc, I damn near fell over laughing. The first thing that alerted me that something was up was Doc in a sweet and cutesy voice saying, "But that doesn't seem right. Why don't we get Maestro to show us?" Doc didn't do it cutesy. She was the kind of doctor who had to go into surgery and make sure people didn't die while on the table. As I said before, high stress position. Also well paying position, but yeah, I don't think I could ever do that. She could strip paint with her tone if someone was really stupid, and the only reason that she would use such a tone was to lull someone into a trap, and indeed, she did. Oh yeah, Doc with the big brain plays. I mean, she's a doctor. I guess we gotta expect big brain plays from her. He had already moved behind her to do his big spoon greasy power armor thing, which already looked rather silly, as she was a few inches taller than he was, and had longer arms, so he was almost flailing trying to get a hold of her wrists
to teach her.
Get away from me, you fucking gremlin! I don't like goblins! I don't like them!
Ew, I don't like them! I don't like goblins! Ah!
Doc continues in the cutesy voice. So, do I still do the basic parry first, right?
Yeah, and then...
He was suddenly cut off, and Doc did the school's basic parry. This involved a swivel of the hips and putting the left elbow back sharply right into Ninja Beard's gut, leaving him gasping like a caught fish, as I'm pretty sure that she really dug that elbow in. Beautiful. Ninja Beard just sulked about for the rest of class and left in a huff, hopefully for the last time, but alas, there were 2 more incidents that I shall tell you about. After getting elbowed in the gut, he came back again. He truly never learns, man. Incident 3. A week after the lesson with Doc, I was once again paired with Ninja Beard. He came back. He really came back. I don't get it. And he apparently had not learned his lesson. We were working on a close game technique. Simply put, close game is when sword fighting you end up close enough to each other that you can basically wrestle. Headbutt. Boom! We had just crossed blades when Ninja Beard started his pontification.
These techniques are so stupid. Anyone who knows anything about fighting would never get hurt. They would just counter, and you'd be on the ground, not even knowing what happened to you.
Yeah, he knows all about that, cause he saw it in Naruto. I'm sorry, I don't know any other animes with ninjutsu involved. I don't think it's that simple. But you know what? Give it a try. Ninja Beard was in a really shitty position, which I will try to describe to you. His right arm was fully extended, sword pointing in the same direction as his arm. I was close. My left shoulder was maybe 8 to 10 inches from his right shoulder, my left hand covering the point of his elbow, and my right hand holding a sword that, with one small push, would bring its point directly in line with his nose. He suddenly spun around, bringing his left elbow up, trying to twist around and elbow me in the face with all the grace and speed of a land-bound inebriated elephant seal. We'd expect nothing less. A small shift on my part, and the bending of an arm allowed him to ruthlessly assault the point of my elbow with his shoulder blade. A lesson hard learned. I then simply looped that arm around his neck, put him in a chokehold, and balanced him on my thigh so that if he tried anything, I could easily just throw him headfirst into the ground. Yeah, that's badassery, boy. I love seeing a good beard fight, even if it is like, a training montage or something like that. You still love to see it. Maestro, of course, saw all this as well, and came over and asked for an explanation. This time, I decided to give an explanation that was much closer to the truth than what Ninja Beard was probably planning on saying. Ninja Beard here said that the first position we have after entering their space wouldn't work at all, and that it was easily countered, so I asked to see this counter, which I then countered. Counter the counter, combo breaker! Ninja Beard bristled at my explanation and sputtered out,
It was pure luck on your part. I bet you couldn't do it again, and I bet no one else will be lucky enough to be able to stop my counter.
Dude, I would gladly put you in a chokehold again. You want to see it again? Let's do it again. I'll do this all day. It feels great. Maestro, who had already been getting fed up with Ninja Beard, immediately spoke up.
Well, if that counter's really that good, I'll need to see it so I can update my own techniques.
Ninja Beard, assured of his own awesomeness, took this as a chance to try and prove it to the instructor. What actually happened was that Ninja Beard tried the same thing that he tried on me. Maestro shifted and stopped him mid-movement, bringing his sword across the throat protection on Ninja Beard's mask, and then proceeded to saw at Ninja Beard's neck for a good 15 seconds. As Ninja Beard flailed about like a drunk who had just peed on an electric cattle fence. OP, you definitely got some writing ability, dude. We need to see more stories from you. This is beautiful. Needless to say, Ninja Beard was rather subdued for the rest of class. God damn. Interlude. This is just a quick side incident that tells you just how delusional Ninja Beard was about his martial art ability. The next class, after the sawing incident, Maestro was talking about fighting multiple opponents and what tactics are best to use. In summary, you don't fight multiple opponents if you can. You keep maneuvering until you have only one to fight and you try to take him out quickly, repositioning to keep other opponents out of range until you've dealt with the closest one, because fighting 3 people at once is basically just stupid. Yeah, it's not like a karate movie where they're all gonna stand back and go, okay, it's your turn, come at you one at a time. You're gonna get hit with 3 swords at once, and it's not gonna go well. Of course, Ninja Beard immediately questioned the validity and claimed that he could
Easily defend against multiple opponents, and he would demonstrate.
Oh boy! He immediately moved to a clear space and began to fight off multiple opponents. I'm pretty sure he thought he looked like he was throwing out a series of precise and deadly blows that would fend off multiple attackers. Really, he looked like a giant bobblehead with 3 pool noodles glued to it, just shaking in a random and rather spastic manner. This was not 8 years of ninjutsu mastery. This was an 8-year-old trying to replicate what he saw on a 2 a.m. 70s kung fu film. The class was, of course, not impressed. I'm just always amazed by the lack of self-awareness that neckbeards have, or don't have, rather. Jesus Christ, man. The final incident was Free Sparring Day, which had come around again, and Ninja Beard was demanding that
he be allowed to spar. After all, his mastery of ninjutsu would allow him to beat all comers.
Now, normally, Maestro didn't let people free spar until they showed a reasonable amount of control and skill in order to help keep down the number of injuries. Ninja Beard wasn't having it, so finally Maestro relented and said,
Okay, since you can defeat all comers, I'll take you on, so I can judge if any of my students will be able to keep up with you.
Appeal to the ego. That's a good play. I honestly don't know how Maestro made that statement with a straight face. Everyone knew that Ninja Beard was a spastic idiot, and we were honestly a little surprised that this was being allowed to happen at all. It wasn't a match. It was a lesson at Ninja Beard's expense. Every spastic attack was deconstructed verbally as Maestro physically countered this
Master Ninja.
Flaws in footwork and balance and parries and attacks were just constantly pointed out as Ninja Beard was madly flailing, trying to get in at least one hit to prove his superiority. The fight finally ended when Maestro decided to end it with flair. In the end, Ninja Beard was stuck, both arms locked up, sword useless, as Maestro proceeded to gently hit him in the face with the pommel of his sword repeatedly for about 30 seconds. That was the last I ever saw of Ninja Beard, and good riddance. Jesus Christ, dude. I mean, I want to say Maestro sounds like kind of a dick, but it doesn't seem like he's doing this to all of his students. He saw that this student really needs to be humbled, and so he's kind of going after him maybe a little harder than he should, or maybe not as hard as he should, considering that Ninja Beard never seemed to learn the fucking lesson. But I am glad that he finally got embarrassed enough to just never show his fat, ugly face around the HEMA class ever again. HEMA is pretty legit. I've heard it mentioned in like quite a few Beard stories, so I started looking it up, and yeah, it does seem like they know what they're doing. Like, you would not want to get in a sword fight with these guys. And if you decide to go to the class, then you're not going to show them up. Like, especially if you're just a complete noob who has nothing but a made-up story, likely made-up story, about training ninjutsu in Japan for 8 years or whatever it is. Ninjutsu and HEMA are very different, I'm pretty sure. So I don't know how you thought that was going to apply, Ninja Beard. Hopefully you learned a lesson, but somehow I doubt that. But I really did enjoy this one-off story. Big thanks to user Kari Lexar, posted 2 months ago, but I got around to it eventually. Thank you for your patience. If you guys enjoyed this video, I hope that you'll like, comment, and or subscribe. Maybe share it around. I would definitely appreciate that. We got all kinds of links in the description, plugs and playlists and podcasts if you're looking for something a little bit different from the channel. We also got my social medias, Twitter, Discord, Facebook. Come on through. Say hello. I always appreciate that. We've also got my Patreon and my gorgeous, wonderful, beautiful, generous patrons. Yes. And I would like to thank them very much.
But especially Robert Waits, Baron Ball, Wicked Pants, Starhead Jerry, Oorah, River Jerry, Captain Cloud Jerry, Hong Kong, Aaron W, Twisted Child, Senator Susie, For Auld Lang Syne, Fight Rate, Giggle Jerry, Hee Hee, Latin, Livingston Loves Jerry, so does Red X, Mr. Anime Manga Fan, Rogue, Silent Revolver, Sergeant Jelly Donut, Magdalene Marshall, Thornrose, Becca, Cherish Kitsune, Little Lone Wolf, Vanilla Mel, Satori, Althea Blue, Anunnaki, Asian Persuasion Jerry, yeah, Assassin Pug Jerry, Bang Bang, Grizzly, Baby Joy, Bearded Jerry, watch out for that guy, Bitch Gremlin, Blade the Hero, Blameless Fish, Blip Boop Jerry, Camille Sarah, Commander J Tank, Delta Rune Jerry, Dennis Dayton, Dinosaur Nightlight, Disposable Waifu, Aaron Lennox, Frozen Over Studios, Gypsy, Hadrian BR, Heathcliff, Itchy Nuts, just scratching, bro. A pimp named Jay Crisp, yes, you gotta say the whole thing. J.M. Coon, Jennifer Schaefer, Jerry with an I, that is a different Jerry. The original Jerry, Jerry Blacktail, Jerry T, Harapist, John Hero, Jolly Black Jerry, oh. Simboofa, because if your boofing is free, Jerry! Crewy, Lady Jerry, Nix, Miss Monday, Lord Lino, Jackus Rule, Melgar the Destroyer, Mint Jerry, Chip, the freshest of the Jerrys. Merciful Baker, my boy, that one, Nick, Natari, Nightmare Jerry, Origami Jerry, Gotta Fold the Ball, Panda Prince Jerry, Phantom of the Pines, Jerry Kinson, Jerry Beth, TSM Kirby, Sarita the Lolita, Saray the Dash, Staples, aka Jerry Yeet. Thank you for bringing it back, Staples. Stephanie Goodner, Synaptic Boomstick, Brilliant Tamago, Tapioca Boogaloo, Tato Fair, Teddy the Police, 10-Ton Monster, the guy with the marble, I think his name is Jerry. Maybe. The One True Fusky, Treeberg, Uwu been promoted now, Oni-chan, Mr. Jerry, Slayer of Tomthra. Womags, yet another different Jerry. Kira, you're a wizard, Jerry. Redwin, Goose says honk. Naga Viper, Saints Blessing, John indoors. A normal Jerry. Totally normal. Hunter of Jerry's, devourer of all things tasty. It's Tom. Admiral A-Tank. Amara, Atomic Jerry Zilla, breaker of the Tom Army. Save us all. AZ, Banished Knight, Barbushka's irradiated jam. Broken spine horse trash. That's quite a name. Cake Jerry, the original different Jerry. California Jerry Girl, yeah. Canadian Lynx, alright. Carrot Jerry. It's still good for your eyes. Chia, CD. Chris Meska, Cinnamon Buddy Dog, Corporal Admiral, Lieutenant, Furry Worry, Woo Jerry, Crypt Titties, Cuban Jerry, Define Jerry, Ever-Changing Jerry versus Beard Apocalypse. Hey, there you go. No Jerry Apocalypse, only Beard Apocalypse around here. Ghost of Alpha, HMT, Mayor, Hydra Jerry, Irish Jerry, Jerry from State Farm. Got me again. Jerry's Beard Adventures, Cheeto Desk, Crusaders, Jerry Aldo Rivera, Jerry Bean, Yum, Jerry Roxers, Yay, JRPG, that's Jerry Role-Playing Game, aka Bloody Butterfly Gaming, King Tom, Smasher of Jerry Zillas. Now we got a fight on our hands. Kitzikin, KJW, Kachow, Crafty Kitty Cat, Life of a Guardian, Little Ann Woods, maybe next time Midnight Sun, Milkfed Gimp, Miss Duchess, Not Invisible Angel, I see you, One Leg Jerry, Origami Cam, Princess Rosalie Jerry, Ghost of Riga, Raptor Art, She's my Jerry Pie. Slorian King, Snary the Snom Jerry, Spoonie the Rogue, Steampunk Ellie, the Necro Jerry Con. Ooh, the original Jerry who is not, the most different Jerry who is maybe, to infinite Jerry and beyond. Promise, swearsies, it's just a fact and it's totally science. Go ahead and look it up, and by it, I mean another Red X video.
Thank you guys all so very much for supporting on the Patreon. I definitely do appreciate it. Obviously, if some other people could sign up, that would be amazingly, massively awesome. But if you can't afford to do it right now, don't sweat it too hard, friends. I just appreciate you coming on through, hanging out with me, and I hope that you come on back and hang out with me again tomorrow. In order to do so, you need to keep yourself safe out there. Wash your hands, but also take some time out and do something that you personally enjoy today. Maybe like, watching some more Red X videos. Arnie says. Always remember, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, and you definitely deserve it. I shall see you in the next one. And until then, friends, bye-bye.